morning we will talk about the spouse or the significant other. So I am not very risk averse. And so what I mean by that, people hear that and they're like, oh, they're crazy. They just do risky things. So risk averse is just, I will take risks to see a higher return than what would be, considered normal from like, going to just clock in every day and get a check, right? Like that's a much lower risk. But I will put my money into things that are not certain. I will engage in partnerships that the return is not certain, requires a lot of work and a lot of effort, a lot of time, and a lot of sacrifice for the hope of a higher return and a certain outcome. And my wife is not that way. My wife is very organized, disciplined, on a schedule all the time, tight budget, frugal, and that's great. And that's one of the reasons that I married her, is that she has that discipline, right? Needed a counterweight for me. And with that can come some confrontations, disagreements of actions that need to be taken or actions that will be taken, disagreement in the opinion that you have about certain things, and also just disbelief that some things are possible. And so I've dealt with that the majority of my life because I am a big dreamer, but I'm also a big doer. And I'm a big doer, and that is at minimum what is required to take risks and then receive rewards. And in my opinion, that everybody's got their own experience with things, but for the most part, if you do not take risks and push yourself towards and over challenges, then it's going to be hard for you to succeed. So with that said, last night we met with the partners involved in the Midwest Automotive Partners, the new dealership that we formalized, to have a formal dinner and get to know each other a little bit better and, discuss some of the future, but mainly just have a good time with each other and talk about each other and learn more about each other. And so my wife messaged me this morning. She said, I got to be honest with you. I didn't know that it was real until it was real. Last night the partners, the investors had handed over the company credit card to me with my name on it and the dealership name on it. And I think that solidified a lot of things for my wife, which is great. We've had our ups and downs with the company. With Livish, it has been up and down. We had some really great wins and then some significant losses. And that's hard for somebody who's not entrepreneurial or, takes risks on the daily. But I'm used to that. I'm in that business. I've been in that business for a long time. I'm in sales. So you got to put yourself out there and work really hard and do a lot of things that, most just W-2s don't require. And so I'm used to that risk. I'm used to putting in that work with the hope of a bigger return, and just going through it for a long time to see it through to the end. And so when you have somebody who's not that way, it can be hard on the relationship, no matter whether that's a girlfriend or boyfriend or fiance or wife, or siblings, family. Those things can be hard on them because they can't see what you see. They're not fueled the way that you are. And you keep telling them that this thing is going to happen and you're very excited about it. And people can get really disenchanted because in the beginning it's very exciting for most people. But that's where most people stop. Most people stop when it's exciting. And then when it gets real, most people quit. So there's a lot of ups and downs, twists and turns and journeys in the middle that, and I can't remember who was just talking about this. Oh, it was Alex Hermosi. and he put it in a way that was much more elegant than the way that I'm going to put it. But basically, that everybody wants to be there for you in the beginning when things are exciting, and most people want to partake in the results. So when you're already there, when you've already accomplished whatever thing that is, they love that. But the in between, most people do not want to stay with you, because that is the tough part. That is when you truly are alone. And when I mean alone, it's not that you're not around other people, but you are alone in your mind and what your ambition is. And throughout that journey, you are looking for other people who can share in some small part in that journey to create this thing that you see down the road. And that could take, a day. It could take 41 years. It could take 10 years, 5 years. But you're committed to that thing no matter what. And sometimes it doesn't look straightforward. So when people try to assess is there actually progress or growth towards a direction, they can't really attach a lot of faith and excitement at it after the original or that initial elevation of emotions. When you start talking, it's exciting then. But then the reality comes, and all of the things that need to be done, all of the things that need to go right, all of the expenses, the investment of time, the sacrifices, the twists and turns of putting a deal together, seeing it through, are a lot on people who are not in it and committed to it 1,000%. And so this morning when she texted me, she said, "Hey, I just didn't realize that it was real up until last night. Now I realize it's real." She's like, I'm proud of you. I'm excited about this. And I think that's great and that's wonderful. And, early on in my life, I used to be like, why are people not excited for these things that are happening? They would just kind of brush things off that I was saying, not want to get in conversations. And, they're just disenchanted by it because it seems so grandiose and so unrealistic to people who are not in it, committed to it, and committed to finding the way to get there, right? That's all they think about. And so when you're not that person, the people who are can look really fucking crazy, out of their mind, delusional. And I think that's just what's required to do anything of any significance in this life. Is you got to be a little bit delusional. Delusional to the things that are going on around you, so that you can stay focused and energized and compelled to get these things done. Because the weight and pressure that someone who takes a large leap puts on themselves is massive, and that's for them only to endure. And so in the beginning, when I was younger and I would do these things, and people would get excited, parents get excited and things like that, but it doesn't last. It lasts for the person involved in it, but it doesn't really last for the people that are outside of it. And I always used to think that people just didn't care about me or the things that I was doing, and that's just not really true. They just don't understand it, and they're not committed to it the way that I do. And so over time, it's confusing to me how some people don't get excited about certain things, especially some of the things that I've done over the last couple of years, as far as producing for clients, and the engagements that I've been able to get in, the opportunities I've been able to get in, the people that I have met and been able to have mentorship and friendship from. They're like disenchanted by it. And so you got to really realize that when you take on something, it is absolutely yours. And the validation is yours within yourself, and not from anybody else. And to just be graceful with those people who love you, but are not committed with you in this journey. They're just with you in the journey. And so it may feel sometimes like the support or the love is kind of just going through the motions. They feel like they're just, they support me, but do they really? And what it's important to me, and what I've realized over time, is that it's not their job to do that. It's not their responsibility to do that. And it's not your place to expect them to support you in a certain way or love you in a certain way. That's up to them to do that. At the end of the day, it's your journey, and you've got to climb it. And my journey is for my family, more than anything. And the secondary to that which was always the primary before I had, my wife and my son now, but was to empower other people through those hard times and let them know that it's possible, connect them to resources to help them achieve their dreams. And so I have continued to do that. I will continue to do that, and it has served me well in life. I cannot say it has not been without loss, sacrifice, pain, struggle, confusion, doubt, all of the things that just don't feel great. But every day I see somebody empowered, it pushes me farther forward. And so if there's anything I can tell you, accept the journey on your own. That doesn't mean you don't go out and surround yourself with like-minded people and things like that, because that's what fuels you through the journey. But at the end of the day, you are on your own in that journey to accept the things that come with the sacrifices you are prepared to make. And and you got to give people grace, because they are also sacrificing some things when you are going out there and sacrificing for your goals, whether that's time, energy, money, whatever it is. Somebody else is always sacrificing too. So be graceful with them, and just know that the greatest thing is getting that result, whatever that is, however big it is, however small it is. The size doesn't matter. It's all significant to the one who is going after it. And the greatest moment, and the one that you should cherish, is when people realize in just a brief moment that all the things you were talking about, all the sacrifices you were given, all the stress you had, all the frustrations you had, all that time and energy that you put in for days, and especially the ones you put in for years, and especially the ones you put in for a lifetime, you weren't fucking around and you got it done. And so today was one of those moments. I've had several of those lately because of the multiple deals that I'm working on, and I'm super grateful to have had my wife beside me, and I'm so grateful that she was there to support me, even though sometimes doubted the hell out of me. So again, just want to say, give grace to those who are not you and not committed to your journey, but may be committed to you, and be very grateful that they, if they ever come to that realization when you get to a certain point of accomplishment in whatever that is, that they realize it, because that's a fucking aha moment for them. And to me, aha moments are the greatest thing in the world. No matter what you do, whatever you're engaged in, you get somebody to have a aha moment about you or the thing that you're doing. That is a beautiful thing, because that creates the most reality of that situation that there ever will be. Stay lavish, guys. Have a great day. Oh, USA. I'm from the USA. Yeah. You're Indian. Yeah, hey, thanks for jumping on here today. I got to get better at answering the comments in the stream. I usually do these when I drive because my schedule's so tight. I get down to the boat dealership, I work, and then from Turkey. Okay, right on. Well, welcome. I appreciate you jumping on. Hopefully I added some value to today. I always like people to make comments if there's things they like me to talk about, whether that's, personal, professional, spiritual, physical, life. I just give my experience on things and try to give the nitty gritty of all the things, not all the pleasant shit, but the reality of how some things go, especially from my experience, and then, the results I've had from, having those experiences. No, I don't follow soccer. I don't follow any sports. I played them. I played baseball, basketball, football up through high school, but after that, I just got focused on my hustle. So, yeah, I'm not a follower of sports, but I go to the games, I attend stuff, I like the events, but I just couldn't tell you the players on the teams, couldn't even tell you what some of the teams are anymore. So if for those of you who are commenting on here, do you have any challenges currently in your life that you're facing that or ambitions that you want to achieve that maybe you haven't had, the opportunity to get clear on, that maybe I can answer for you before I get off here, I would be happy to give some wisdoms rather than me just talk about my things. Okay, well, it looks like everybody jumped off. So, hey, stay lavish. I appreciate you guys staying with me for as long as you did, and for any second at all, that's a great appreciation for me. Hopefully you got some value. Stay lavish.